In 1949, another devotee brought the elephant again, and an American devotee took a photograph of Bhagavan with the elephant saluting him. When he went back to America, he sent that picture with these beautiful words written behind it. A big self which does not know the body, meaning Bhagavan, and a big body which does not know the self, meaning the elephant, are both in one place. Bhagavan read it out much to everyone's enjoyment. In 1949, Chinna Swami performed the Kumbhabhishekam, the consecration ceremony, for the mother's shrine. Though Bhagavan had no liking or aversion to ceremonies, he actively took part on the request of his devotees. This ceremony went on over 4 days and was beautifully organized. Thousands of people were fed, and after its completion, Chinna Swami distributed gifts to all those who had worked for the success of the celebration. One group of people who used to adore Chinna Swami brought him to Bhagavan's presence and placed a chair for him in front of Bhagavan. As Hindu admirers are emotionally wont to, they wanted to wash his feet and adorn them with flowers. When Chinna Swami saw this, he refused to sit on the chair. He cried angrily, "This Pada Puja can only be done for one who is not aware of the body. I am not fit for this. I still have body consciousness." He pointed towards Bhagavan and said, "Here is Bhagavan. He is the greatest. No one here deserves any credit except our master Bhagavan." There are some interactions between Bhagavan and Chinna Swami, which throw better light on their close relationship. Once Bhagavan's birthday was to be celebrated, and on the day before the celebration, the residents realized that there were no provisions in the store. Hundreds of people had already arrived and Chinna Swami was unnerved. He did not know what to do. There was no money and no time. He began to panic and ran from pillar to post. Bhagavan was in the hall with his devotees. At midnight, a big bullock cart arrived and unloaded rice, lentils, oil, and vegetables and drove away. However, all the residents were asleep and there was nobody to cut the vegetables and cook the food. Bhagavan understood this, and with his wooden staff, gently prodded all the sleeping residents awake, saying, "Chinna Swami is struggling there like a cat that has put its mouth into boiling milk. Let us help cut the vegetables." Bhagavan and others cut the vegetables and cooked meals for the next day. Needless to say, Bhagavan's birthday celebration went off beautifully. There is some controversy surrounding Paul Brunton, Munagala Venkataramaiah and Chinna Swami which I would like to clear. It is recorded that Chinna Swami rudely stopped Paul Brunton from recording conversations in the hall. He is said to have done the same thing to Munagala Venkataramaiah, who recorded the talks which are now compiled in Talks with Ramana Maharshi, a must-read for all devotees. It is true that Paul Brunton was stopped by Chinna Swami. This was because he had started taking notes in Bhagavan's presence and was selling them without even mentioning Bhagavan's name. He even made statements that Bhagavan was popular because of his book. When Chinna Swami got to know of this, he marched straight to the hall where Paul Brunton was seated and told him point blank, "Stop it. You do not carry the right to do this anymore." Brunton was furious and he turned indignantly to Bhagavan and asked, "Is this the view of Bhagavan also?" Bhagavan was silent. Similarly, when Munagala Venkataramaiah took down Bhagavan's talks in a notebook, he would gather a group outside the ashram and try to impress them. When this came to Chinna Swami's notice, he came into the hall and stopped him in Bhagavan's presence. Munagala Venkataramaiah was deeply hurt on being insulted in the glare of public eye. Later, when Munagala was with Bhagavan, still feeling slighted, Bhagavan said, "The greatest form of ego for an individual is to present himself as a teacher and become a guru." Understanding that this message was for him, Munagala immediately prostrated before Bhagavan and begged him for his forgiveness. Bhagavan saved him, and Munagala himself later said, "When a true seeker becomes a teacher, the first casualty is his own advancement in sadhana." I was in touch with Brunton, and he admitted that he went to Bhagavan and apologized. How beautifully Bhagavan corrected them and nudged them back into their sadhana. Both Paul Brunton and Munagala Venkataramaiah attained self-realization in their later years because this was Bhagavan's purpose. Horizontal expansion took place when Munagala Venkataramaiah and Brunton popularized Bhagavan's teachings, and Bhagavan gave them vertical expansion. For this, Chinna Swami was used like a rough washerman's stone to beat away their flaws. This is something that Munagala himself told me. He used Chinna Swami like a washerman's stone. We all blamed Chinna Swami, but it was Bhagavan saving us through him. There are so many instances I could share, but one concerning Annamalai Swami is especially important. Annamalai Swami was responsible for masonry at the ashram. but could construct only ordinary buildings. When Chinna Swami began the construction of a temple, specialists were brought in from all over South India. After the construction started, there was a technical difficulty which Annamalai Swami could not resolve, but he still wanted things done his way. The temple specialists and Chinna Swami did not agree with him, and he was told to leave. This is what Annamalai Swami shared with me later. For all outward purposes, it is true that Chinna Swami quarreled with me and dispensed with me. But I realized later that I needed this treatment. Otherwise, I would have been an eternal builder inside the ashram all my life. Recognizing this, Bhagavan commanded me not to come within the ashram premises anymore. The fact that it was not a reprimand from Bhagavan was proved when Bhagavan visited me almost every day at my residence in Palakotu and encouraged me in my austere living, sadhana and seclusion. What a blessing it was to have Bhagavan personally instructing me alone in my cottage. All this I can honestly say I owe to Chinna Swami for firing me. I plunged inwards and had the inner vision that our Bhagavan is truly the I Am. Vishwanatha Swami explained to me why all the senior devotees went to Palakotu. We did that so that we could pursue our sadhana. Bhagavan approved of this. He would ask us, "In which way are you going to build your hut?" Bhagavan would also encourage us to go to the streets and beg for food. This enabled us to be with Bhagavan all the time and made us what we are today, in a state of realization. This was possible only because we left the ashram. Bhagavan wanted things this way. Vishwanatha Swami was the worst affected by Chinna Swami's tough demeanor. He once had to go without food for 3 days. One of the kitchen assistants took him inside the dining hall through the kitchen and made him sit along with others. When he was about to eat, Chinna Swami came in and pulled him out. Bhagavan witnessed all this without objecting to it.